It is Sunday, the 29th of September, 2024. My name is Pigeon Rose, and this is my song of the day. We're rounding out the week with a discussion of an artist who I frankly don't know enough by, and that is Paolo Nutini. Don't let his name fool you, he is in fact from Scotland. And even if you don't recognize the name, you probably do, because he's been pretty popular the last while. But you have probably heard Pencil Full of Lead. That was like it was always on the radio and on music, TV channels, you know. I got my baby, nothing's gonna bring me down. You know, I remember that being all over the radio, and then I remember seeing him perform on Later with Jules Holland, and me and my dad being kind of surprised, like, he's so young and he has such a soulful voice, and he very clearly feels the music, like he's contorted and really like using all of his body to sing. And my dad was like, wow, you don't see that from young performers all the time. So I've always been interested to check him out, but I never really got around to it. My mom got into him at one point, which I'm sure is another one of the reasons why I have delayed in getting into him. But a few years ago, Jesus, that was 8 years ago now, Bon Iver released their album 22 A Million, which has the song 33 God, which samples the song Iron Sky by Paolo Nutini. And I was like looking up all the because that album's full of samples, so I was looking up all the different samples across the album, and I was like, holy shit, this song is fucking incredible. And so then I got into this song. I'm probably more into it than 33 God, honestly, and I love 33 God. But this song is just it's so amazing. I love it so much. It itself contains a prominent sample, and we'll get there. But I think for now, we're just going to listen to it and then come back in a few minutes and talk about it. There it is. That's Iron Sky. God, I love that song so much. So powerful. I love how it sounds. It's got this like slow, menacing feel to it, especially with the guitar, the kind of similar to what I was saying about Empires, that kind of James Bondy feel to the tone. But then you've also got the horns in the chorus that feel very triumphant. The ba-da-ba, ba-ba, ba. It all comes together really nice, especially with Paolo's amazing voice. His voice is so unique and interesting, and I love it so much. What I was saying about like him singing with his whole body, like just the way he's got that vocal fry going on, but also like the way notes go all over the place, you know, spoon fed to the blind. Like he's really giving it everything, you know. Anyway, let's go into the song itself. Well, the song is kind of about like people having been misled by propaganda and media manipulation to becoming hateful and resentful and giving up their independence. And this song is like a call to action that you don't have to live by hate. You can live by love, right? You don't need to follow what people tell you to do. Be your own person and be nice to people. And to illustrate that point, it contains the bridge. The entire bridge of the song is just a sample, which I'm sure you noticed. And if you don't know already, it's a sample from the Charlie Chaplin movie, The Great Dictator, which famously was like the first Hollywood movie to depict Nazis in any way, especially one to depict what Nazis were doing to the Jews. Now, Charlie Chaplin later said that if he had known how bad the Holocaust was, he wouldn't have made the movie, because it's a black comedy. And while he said that Hitler is someone who should be laughed at, he thought that it was such a horrific thing that he shouldn't have made a funny movie about it, right? But it is still held up as this classic of anti-fascist cinema, and the bit that is used in the song is his big speech at the end of the movie where he tells all the people that he doesn't want to be a dictator and he wants everyone to get together and be nice to each other. So it kind of resonates here with the theme of like the song being about disobeying those teachings of being hateful and being loving instead, which is what the main character of The Great Dictator is trying to do. He's trying to throw off the shackles of being a Hitler-like figure and become something better, you know? So let's go through the lyrics, shall we? We are proud individuals living for the city, but the flames couldn't go much higher. We find gods and religions to paint us with salvation, but no one, no nobody can give you the power to rise over love, over hate, through this iron sky that's fast becoming our mind, over fear and into freedom. So, we're proud individuals living for the city. I mean, it's talking about people being proud and living for the city, like being proud of where they're from. But the flames couldn't go much higher, so it's kind of talking about maybe ignoring ignoring the problems going on, right? You're ignoring that the whole place is burning around you, you know what I mean? We find gods and religions to paint us with salvation. You know, talking about people turning to religion in times of crisis. I mean, that's generally where religion is held up as maybe being a useful thing, is humans wanting to find some sort of guidance in the world, whether it's through hard times or guidance towards better times, or just simply advice or comfort or whatever it is. That tends to be why people turn to religion. And so it's saying we find gods and religions to paint us with salvation, to forgive us for our crimes as well. People use religion to excuse awful things that they've done. They say, well, it's God's will, when that's strictly speaking unknowable. And also people who say that genocide is God's will haven't read their holy texts. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. But the next line is, but no one, no nobody can give you the power, right? So he's saying, even though you turn to religion in times of crisis, he's not condemning that as a practice, but he's saying that only you can give yourself the power to be independent, to do things that you want to do. It shouldn't be determined by God or by religious figures like the Pope or like your local rabbi or whatever it is. You are the one who determines your own fate. And without explicitly like decrying religion or anything, he's just saying that ultimately it comes down to you, and that it's the power to rise over love, over hate. Right? Kind of love and hate being the two polar opposites there. But it's talking about rising above that and being free, right? Because then he says, through this iron sky that's fast becoming our mind, over fear and into freedom. So he's talking about like this, the phrase iron sky, apart from making me think of the comedy about Nazis on the moon, which is a whole other thing, makes me think of the idea of the Iron Curtain. But anyway, it's like saying this like bubble that we're living in. You have to burst through that iron sky, this thing that's like protecting you, quote unquote, from independent thought, you know, and you have to burst through it over fear and into freedom. And then, oh, that's life that's dripping down the walls of a dream that cannot breathe in this harsh reality. Mass confusion, spoon-fed to the blind, serves now to define our cold society, from which we'll rise over love, over hate, through this iron sky that's fast becoming our mind, over fear and into freedom. You've just got to hold on. You've just got to hold on. So, you know, he's saying that's life that's dripping down the walls of a dream that cannot breathe. That kind of makes me think, I mean, he's just talking about it like fading away, that it's like it's imprisoned, like I said, but that's life dripping on the walls makes you think like blood, right? You know, it's being wasted, it's being frittered away, whether you're talking about like literal imprisonment or just people being changed and their minds being enslaved rather than them physically being enslaved, you know what I mean? But it also could be referring to death, like I said, blood, that's life dripping on the walls. A dream that cannot breathe in this harsh reality, I mean, that's pretty obvious. Mass confusion, spoon-fed to the blind, serves now to define our cold societies. This is what I was saying about like propaganda and media coverage and all these things being used to change the minds of the people, because that's how societies work and that's how governments work. And he's talking about how it's left us cold. We've been spoon-fed confusion and now we're just cold, but from which we'll rise over love, over hate. And you get the horns coming in, like I said, where it feels like triumph. It really feels like a call to action, you know, from which we'll rise. We can do this, you know, and just that you've just got to hold on. You just got to hold on, because it's not easy work, but you got to hold on. Now I'm going to read out the whole Charlie Chaplin speech, so bear with me. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Let us use that power. Let us all unite. After listening to this song for the first time, I went and looked up that speech, because I haven't seen The Great Dictator, shamefully. Although part of the reason why we're doing this song today is because I was recently listening to Behind the Bastards talking about how Hollywood kind of helped the Nazis. And so they talked about The Great Dictator. And I was like, man, I should watch that fucking movie. And also I should talk about Iron Sky on my podcast. But when I listened to the song, I watched the full scene rather than just this excerpt. And I just cried. It's such a powerful, incredible scene. And the excerpt that's included here is great. I love Charlie Chaplin's delivery, by the way, of "You are not cattle." It's great. But, it feeds into this idea of, like, do not despair, right? Like, it's this hopeful idea, but don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men. And so, he's talking about not following this programming that the upper elite have put into you and have tried to change you. You can beat that because you're not like them. You're not a machine. You are men. Now, he means men as in humans, but you know what I mean? Especially, you the people have the power to make this life free and beautiful. Let us use that power. Let us all unite. Again, using the idea of you alone have this power to be independent. And then, of course, the song goes back into the chorus, and we'll rise over love over hate, right? It just does the chorus a few times, and then it ends with Paolo Nutini singing rain on me, as he kind of gets lost in the music. It's just such a good song. It's a theme that's very, near and dear to my heart. So I love how this song covers it, and I just think it's beautiful. It's a really good sounding song. It's a weirdly feel-good song. I mean, like I said, it is hopeful. It's obviously, it comes from a place of anger and sadness, but it is a hopeful song for the future, and so it makes me happy in that way. It's not like a song I'd listen to get pumped at the gym, but it's a song I listen to for catharsis, you know what I mean? Ugh, love this song so much. I need to go fucking watch The Great Dictator now. Thank you so much for listening. That's the end of another week. Next week, we're doing much the same. We're not doing a specific theme. We're just doing more songs I wanted to talk about. Although tomorrow, I am specifically going to be talking about 33 God, the Bon Iver song that samples this song, because I wanted to pair them together, but also I wanted to end the week with Iron Sky. So there we go. Thank you so much for listening. Please hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Tell other people about this show. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
Break it down.
That was awful. Now I'm going to read out the whole Charlie Chaplin, I think it says Charles Chaplin on Genius,